Me, years ago. I don't need you, can do this more. Oh, take me back, take me back.
3, 2, 1.
And if it makes you cry, 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 and all you do is fight, Kendra, and you can't get no sleep at night, sometimes you gotta lose to win again. Nah. Ha, beautiful people. This is the theme for this here episode. But anyway, hello. My name is Tato and welcome to my channel where we are all things conversation. Today we are continuing with episode 2 of Couples Retreat season 3. Today is a continuation of obviously where we left off in the first episode. So remember, the last time it was Ronnie and Shamari. Ronnie was asking Shamari, is there a way that you can at least say that there is something that you can own up to in this relationship that is contributing to our failure, you know? And Shamari obviously was like, no, in the first episode. And then I think after rephrasing the question, she found herself saying, yeah, actually, you know. And then she did mention that, you know, sometimes I need time to think about it. So I think her defense is she always goes into defense mode and then she comes back and takes time to think or reconsider or consider what was being asked or said and all that. So yeah, so she did say that, you know what, okay, there is an area where we can fix and we can look into. And Ronnie also mentioned that, you know what, I want my old Shamari back. Shamari's like, there ain't no old Shamari. Shamari has 2 babies now. She's dedicated everything to being a parent and a homemaker, and that is not what she wants. And Ronnie was also speaking about the intimacy part, that, you know what, we used to do it every way. And now there's like certain restrictions and all that. But Tony was like, you know, in that area, Ronnie, you should be the one that actually helps her out, for her to actually come on board with regards to that. She cannot, when she's got so many things piling up on her, you know, affirm her, just make the day easy. So that when it's time to do that, then she's, you know, she's laid back, she's complimented, she's validated, she's affirmed. I mean, that is, you know, that is kind of foreplay type of thing. So that was the advice from Tony. Second to go was Jalen and Fallon. Fallon mentioned the intimacy part, that Jalen is hardly intimate. I have to be the one that initiates, and does not sit right with me, you know. I mean, even as a woman, you know, you want to feel wanted, you know. And Jalen mentioned that I've got a lot of things going on. I've got money that is on my mind, and if my money is not right, my mind is not right. If my mind is not right, the boy is not right, you know. So he's got a lot of stresses, and he mentioned that. And he also mentioned the trauma, because they were discussing obviously the things that were on the wall. He mentioned that we both have trauma and we have not dealt with it, and we are just going just like this quick into relationship, into engagement. So he's realizing that they need to slow down. Fine. Then they go to Shireen and Apollo, and then they mentioned control. They both have similar issues, because Apollo mentioned control and Shireen also mentioned control. So I think they both control each other, or the one wants the control over the other and the one is not giving it away. And I do see those traits in Apollo, because even on Real Housewives of Atlanta, he did have those traits of control. He just wanted things his way and no other way. And he also wanted maybe to be in control on when someone should say something, when someone should move, when someone, you know. So I think those are the dynamics that they have. And Apollo's like, no, you know, so that is what they need to look into. Shireen also mentioned micromanaging, mentioned that Apollo likes to micromanage. And I think that also boils down to control, you know, when you just want to always be like, are you doing this? Are you doing this? It's control. Then it went to Breezy and Chris. Breezy's side was acceptance. Chris's side was anxiety. Those are the two things that they had up on their wall, one on each side, and that's it, guys, compared to the other walls. But anyway, Breezy mentioned that she needs to start accepting the love that Chris gives to her. You know, she has not accepted it yet. Maybe it's just too, you know, one of those too good to be true things, and maybe she's gone through a lot and now is unable to find middle ground. But that is the wall, I guess. And then with Chris mentioned anxiety. But before mentioning anxiety, AJ was like, I'm looking for cracks in this thing. This thing can't be this perfect, you know, because I was also watching and I was like, these people are just like, you know, they get each other, they speak. And I guess it's just one of those things where maybe they are vulnerable and they are open to each other that makes them better communicators, which in turn translates to a better relationship, you know. So, but AJ was like, okay, how do you feel about Breezy's smoking, you know? Because AJ was like, no, I caught Breezy smoking, and I wanted to put that, I actually banked it so that I can pose it to Chris, you know. But Chris said, you know, I mean, Breezy doesn't smoke that much anymore. AJ was like, how do you feel? And Chris was like, you know, Breezy smokes when she is stressed. How do you feel? And she ended up saying that I actually don't like it. Because I mean, health-wise, you know, if you love someone, you obviously want them to adopt better health habits, you know. So that was the thing. And Breezy looked and seemed very uncomfortable, but only to find out that Breezy had not maybe shown it to the public that she smokes, because she did mention that the public doesn't know that she smokes. So maybe the cast members or whatever, people around her, when she does movies or whatever, they don't know. So there was a thing that was a discomfort. But then Chris mentioned that, you see, now this anxiety issue that I have, now I'm anxious. I have this anxiety because I feel the need to be protecting Breezy, and now these things are out there in, you know, in public, and now there's that anxiety, the feeling of protection. And Breezy was like, I don't care. It's just that I you know, it's one of those things that was like blindsided, you know. So yeah, there was that with both of them, where they are just affirmed each other, and then Chris was like, no, it's okay, baby, you didn't know, I didn't know, but I'm cool with it, and it's okay, I don't care, people find out now, then it's fine, you know. Jock and Kendra spoke. They had their wall full, you hear me? Both sides had, I'll try and get a picture. But I've noticed that on both sides, there's one that says social media, there's one that said media scrutiny, you know. So I'm thinking there is a serious issue when it comes to social media, when it comes to them. But now I think they can't rethink it, or they can't do away with it, because it's something that puts food on their table. So I don't know how they're going to deal with that, because that's what I've noticed. Social media, media scrutiny. So they are really having it, you know, because of social media. They're having it because maybe someone acts out on social media, or someone acts out on when the cameras are on, you know. So yeah. Third point, Tiana, was trauma and infidelity. So Tiana does mention now that, you know what, I think I was a little delulu with this whole infidelity issue, and I thought I would just breeze past it, but I think it has affected me more than I think it did, you know. So that's something that she needs to now come back to and be like, you know what, I actually was hurt. So that is something that they need to look into, both of them, you know. So, but the overall point of the exercise was for them to look at the walls, right? Each partner goes to the other partner and look at their walls and just check if there's anything on the wall that they were not aware of. Then that would mean that they were not being heard. You know, like I would for example, in a relationship, say something, but you would not hear me out. So the things that are there that you are not aware of means that you were not hearing me out. So that's a good exercise, and I think I'm just going to use it in my personal capacity. Then it is day 2 in the morning. They have like their little personal cameras, and it started with Kendra. I don't think Kendra likes Jock. I think she loves him for whatever attachment reasons, but I don't think she likes Jock, because the first thing she said, she was like, because it was morning, right? They were in a bonnet. She was in a bonnet and everything, and she's like, morning, I'm up, and Giselle is snoring per usual, and he was just like going off, I'm just like, I don't think she likes this guy. I really don't. There's something underlying that they connect when it comes to whatever connection that they have, but I don't think she likes him at all. Anyway, then they go to the gym. The men go to the gym and they meet up with Tony. They just have a session because Tony was like, you know what, Mina, I really thrive. I really would encourage working out because it gets one's mind clear and all that. So they were just having a bro time, And then they were talking about, Fat Boy mentioned the whole cheating situation, that he realizes that his cheating ways were just based on ego, because each and every time he's done or whatever, then it always boils down to the fact where he's just like, why am I even doing this? Because there's better at home. Then chips in Jock, where he says, you know what, let me give you some advice as the king of the wandering eye. Why, number one, would you find that something to be proud of? Like, actually, I need to apologize to Fat Boy, because I thought he is actually worse than Jock, and it seems like it's otherwise. I judged him, and maybe I didn't. I was wrong. And he says, as the king of the wandering eye, he obviously wonders and looks and he's like, damn, shout it. But at the end of the day, he finds out that there is no one like Kendra. I'm like, okay, whatever. So fine. And then after that scene, they show the scene where AJ goes and visits Shamari and Ronnie. So that's when they were just talking about the situation where Shamari is like, you know what, I feel like I've lost myself. I feel like I need Shamari back. The Shamari that used to tour, that used to go on tour, the Shamari that used to sing, the Shamari, that is out there and exploring the world, because right now I feel stuck. It is just me and the babies, and I'm watching my husband go live his life. He goes on tour, obviously, and Shamari wants to finish and complete her master's degree. And the things that we want to do as well as women, instead of just being caretakers type of thing. So they were just in conversation with that, and they're just talking about how they can make that work and the balance that they need to strike when it comes to that. Oh, and to also mention, Tony was speaking to the gentlemen about power struggles, because they mentioned that, the girls like always want to feel like they have the last word, and they always just want to speak over the man and everything like that. So that's when Tony was like, you know what, it's no disrespect to have mutual submission. So men must just learn that, instead of just always wanting to feel like you do not have to say all of that and all the mess that comes with power struggles and women and men. So yeah, they were then called for an exercise, and the exercise is about communication, and obviously they explained the whole exercise. Then obviously Fat Boy, they show his side, and he mentions that, you know what, okay, I see what you guys are talking about, but it's not embarrassing to me, because I actually gained money back. I have a gambling problem. But Tiana was like, please understand that it's not about the gambling problem. It's the fact that you shared it on social media, that you lost so much money, and also you embarrassed the family. And I think there was a disconnect there because he really didn't get it. He really didn't get why Tiana was just all up in her with regards to him sharing it. And I understand Tiana. I mean, like, what are you doing to the home front? You know, there are some things that we can just lose in private, and you don't just have to speak about them out there, you know, because you're going to make me look like, and I don't want to look like, you know. Then it was Chris and Breezy, and Chris mentioned that, you know what, I don't have a problem with what was said because my son is happy and because we co-parent well with the child, you know, so there was no issue. With Ronnie and Shamari as well, there was no issue because they mentioned that it actually just shows how much they can push through as a married couple. So it in turn, you know, encouraged other couples, I guess, to just see how they've navigated this life thing and they've pushed through. There was Apollo and Shireen. Shireen was like, we married now. So that speaks for itself. Jock and Kendra was saying that she finds it very hard to navigate social media because she just needs time and she needs accountability. And I think maybe she should start using another word. Maybe it's like remorse. I don't know. I don't know what she wants from Jock because it seems as if they're fine. However, the things that Jock had previously done still haunt Kendra. And Kendra somehow thinks it's everyone's fault. Maybe it's social media's fault that blew it up. But at the end of the day, it's like, girl, find some common ground. Find your happy place. Find the fact that I chose to stay and heal through that, because all the times that she's mentioned, like, I don't know, there's never an episode where she doesn't mention accountability, maybe like more than 3 times. So it's like, come on, Kendra, at some point, you know, maybe that's why Jock just gets annoyed. It's like, okay, after what happened, is there another time where we are just not okay and I did not take accountability? So, I don't know. Then it was Fallon and Jalen. Fallon, obviously it was the situation with Portia and Simon. And Jalen mentioned that, you know, he would have loved to say his piece, but he was told to keep quiet and be silent, you know, throughout that whole the scandal, the entire scandal. So Fallon mentioned that, you know what, when you know your truth, you don't need to go back and forth with people, and it's starting to annoy me and all of that. But I think Jalen also needed an opportunity for himself, so for him to do what he needs to do, so his mind and his heart is okay with what's happening. So he wanted to clap back. But he says that, you know, given the opportunity to do it over again, he was gonna speak up and not be silent, because Fallon is the one that told him to be quiet, you know. So the point of the exercise obviously was how they see social media and how they can react to the opinions that we put out there to them, but at the same time in how they can also conduct themselves on social media to do better, so that we don't actually see what we see and get to comment on what we get to comment on, I guess. But that was the gist of it all. And for them to actually see that there can be another perspective, because obviously that was the article, but that is their explanation and how they see things. So it was like different perspectives and how they can gel that and actually come out stronger when it comes to such things as public figures. Then there was a game that was presented. The game was actually to help them open up to others. So the interesting question that was posed for me was Ronnie and Shamari, where Ronnie was asked what was the most embarrassing situation that you had to go through. And Ronnie mentioned that, you know what, Shamari lost a best friend. Shamari was grieving and I didn't know how to be there for Shamari. And instead of being there for her, there were so many expectations, the things that I needed from her. And then it drove us apart to a point where Shamari obviously had to grieve in another person's arms. And that was embarrassing for him to receive, you know, that his wife is out there, so that was interesting for me. And then also I think Kendra was asked, what would you like Jock to know? And she said, I need Jock to know that he's the #1 rapper and he's my favorite rapper, because men tend to get their ego bruised if maybe, I don't know, I think maybe there's a time when maybe Kendra said someone else is their favorite rapper and it did not sit right with Jock. I don't know, but that was the question and that was Kendra's answer. And then Jalen asked Kendra if she felt or feels embarrassed by staying, and Kendra just, I think she just mentioned that she does, because of the way she was raised. We were raised not to settle. We were raised not to, allow a man to treat you like this and that and that. And then obviously now this happens and then she decides to stay, and it also happens obviously in the public eye. So yeah, she says it's fine, but she's embarrassed because of that, because of the background that she has in terms of not settling, and then all of a sudden she finds herself settling. So that was the embarrassing part about it, and that it also happened obviously in the public eye. And then another interesting one for me was Breezy asking Fallon on what are the reasons for her to get married, or why does she want to get married and all of that. And Fallon mentioned that she mentioned her kids. She mentioned everything outside of Jalen. So for me, it's like, okay, I think Fallon just wants to get married for stability, because she did mention that she's not that person that wants to bounce around relationships and date and all of that. She just wants to find somebody, settle with, and just move on with life, So, and that she said that she's not used to being alone. She's not used to being single. And that means obviously that she hops from this relationship to the next, which is not healthy. And Breezy did mention, actually told her that, I don't think that's a healthy way of doing relationships, and even the reason for you to be in a relationship or want to get married. Because honestly, she didn't really mention anything about Jalen. So that means she is somehow speaking of the position, not really the person. I don't know if maybe I'm the one that's just thinking or overthinking that. So to her, it's like anyone can come. I'm waiting for anyone to come and fill in this position because of the me being afraid of being alone, or me being afraid of being, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So I think there's something there that she needs to unpack and she needs to heal from, because there's no way that she's so afraid of being alone and then there's nothing wrong, So yeah, that was like so confusing. But yeah, she's a serial committer, and also she's doing it for, I think, the not so right reasons, and that I think we can agree upon. So anyway, that was the whole exercise, and the point of that exercise was that you can count on some other people. You can count on other people for support, instead of just thinking that you guys are the only ones that are experiencing this, because sometimes other people are experiencing things. Sometimes you can reach out to someone else and you can get a healthier perspective of things, So that was the point of the exercise, and obviously how they show up in the world as a couple. They all went obviously into their hotel rooms, and all hell broke loose, because now Kendra was like, because they were walking back to their rooms, right? And Kendra was speaking to Jock that, it's so nice. It's very nice for you to just be there for other people. Because Fallon was actually saying that, I had a conversation with Jock, and Jock gave me a perspective, that I didn't think about, but I really need to look into this. So Kendra was like, very nice that you can give other people advice and other people can get through to you and you can get through to other people. How about you do that for us? How about you do that for me, for our relationship, And yeah, she just started going off, and she was just talking about how she doesn't need Jock. And Jock was like, what just happened? What's your problem? And Kendra just started acting out and was like, yeah, you just, like she was just going in, and Jock was like, wait. I think Jock was like, I don't discount the fact that you are going through, but where did this, like, how did this start? What happened? Did I miss something that got us into this place? Because Jock even asked Kendra, was like, is there something that I did not account for? Because I did account. I even told the public. Kendra's like saying, I'm going to be hurt about this, and you don't get to tell me when is the right or wrong time for me not to be triggered, I guess, about this situation. And I'm like, but that's not healthy. Like, I think she should just, call it quits with Jock or whatever, because that's not healthy. Imagine being like sitting at a restaurant and then she just starts, can you see that baby? That's the age. It's the same age as that break baby that you had, and stuff like that. So you wouldn't know how to deal with a person like that. You would have to walk on eggshells each and every time, and that is just it's exhausting. But anyway, she went in, and then she started like speaking to the camera people. Should I do it like this? Is this how you like it? And what should I do? I don't care. I'm done. I'm going. Jock was like, right now, I don't know what's going on, and right now you are so unattractive. And she was like, you were embarrassing me. You were embarrassing me. And Jock stood up and walked out and just closed the door. She said, I don't need you. But at the same time, she said, I don't need you. Taking her back, following Jock. And I'm like, this girl, I think she's very attached to Jock in an unhealthy way, in a toxic way. And she needs to deal with that, because the way she's acting reminds me of me years ago, where when you're just like, I don't need you, can do this alone. Take me back. We've all been through that. I mean, blessed are you that has not gone through that as a woman, where you can see that this gent doesn't like you, but you have no choice, and you just think the world of this guy, so. But for me, it's like, hey, girl, these are things that we go through in our 20s when our mind is just like, So I guess maybe she's stuck in the 20s, or maybe she's stuck in wanting to... She really wants this to hurt. She doesn't want the pain to go. She doesn't want to heal. She doesn't want for them to be okay. She just wants to be disgusted by Jock all her life. And that is what I've picked up. And I've also picked up that when cameras... And Jock did mention that, you know what? I don't know what's going on, because we'd be fine this moment, and then the next thing, when cameras are rolling, she's just out here. So I think maybe she's used to the Love and Hip Hop situation franchise, where they just have to, the producers tell them to just, not give you back, because that's how she's acting. And then I saw when she was asking the producers that, is this how you want it? Is this how? That's when I was like, okay, she's gone. She's addicted to the mess, the toxicity, and somehow she feels that is okay for her to do and just be in a relationship, and it's exhausting. But anyway, that was the end of the episode, and I saw a little preview of the third episode, and I'm just like, okay. Anyway, tune in next week for episode 3. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please comment, subscribe, do the things that you know to do on social media platforms to support people, okay? Love you.